All right, guys, today we are going to be teaching you guys how to tie a drop shot. You guys see that we use it all the time while we're fishing, and it's a very easy rig to set up if you just know what you're doing. So we're gonna go through it step by step, and then we'll kind of teach you guys how to rig your lures and what hooks we use and what weights we're looking for in certain situations and all that fun stuff. So, all right, so we're gonna be using a bigger hook so that we can kind of show you guys how this works, and it's easier to see with this line instead of the smaller hooks that we use. So this is a flipping hook. We don't actually use this for drop shotting. We're just gonna use this so that you guys can see kind of better what we're doing. Okay. Even Brixton can tie these, Noxon can tie these. They've all been taught how to do this, so. Okay, so first you're gonna run your tag end through. So this end that you just ran through is gonna be the end that you put your weight on eventually. Okay, and then you run it back through the eye of the hook. And you wanna try to make sure that you have anywhere from, you know, some people fish 6 inches to, some people fish 6 inches to up to 2 feet of length from that hook to that weight, depending on what you're doing. When we're fishing weeds, we want a little bit of a bigger leader from the weight to the hook so that it's not getting caught in those weeds as we're dragging our drop shot through. We also want a longer leader when we are doing drop shot swim baiting, so that we're pulling it, because the angle of the line is a big proponent to all of this. So we want a little bit longer so that we can drag that thing and it moves a little bit quicker and that bait can still be off the bottom. So you're gonna take both your tag end. Okay, so you're gonna take both lines. This side is looped, right? Then we have your tag end and your main line. And all you're gonna do is tie an overhand knot. Okay? So you tie an overhand knot. Then we have a big loop here. And you're just gonna put your hook through this big loop here. All right? Now that it's through that, grab both lines here and you just pull it tight. So that's what it looks like. Then we're gonna take the eye of your hook and we're gonna bring your tag end of your line and we're gonna put it through the front of your hook, not the back. And the reason we're doing that is so that when this bait hangs and the weight is like this, the weight's gonna be down here and your hook's gonna be up here, and it's always gonna be pointing upwards. That's what we want. So that is all it is. Then you're gonna take your weight. Okay, these are just cinch weights is what they're called. You're gonna put this through there. And then you're just gonna pull up on this. And it's just gonna hold your weight right there. And that is all it is. Right there. So we have your weight, and then the leader line between your hook and your weight, and it's as easy as that. So let's show you guys some of the actual hooks that we use for drop shotting. This is not what we use, like I was talking about. These are the weights that we use, however. So these are just pencil drop shot weights, and we like using these really more than the circle weights in pretty much every aspect. Because for one, these are really good in grass. They can drag through it a lot easier. And for two, they're good for the rocks because they're not getting completely pinned in between these rocks. They can kind of go in these crevices and then you can come right back out of them. We have bigger ones, and then we have medium ones, and then we'll have the small ones. Okay, so we're using all these in different aspects. depending on how deep it is, depending on how quick we need to get down to the bottom, depending on the current, especially on this body of water that we've been fishing a lot. This is a river system, so when they opened up those dams, that current starts pushing and you need to have a heavy weight in order to get down to the bottom, or you'll never hit bottom. The current will just take your bait the entire time. These lighter weights, we like to use them for when we're not fishing as deep water, when we're drop shotting, when there's no current, when we're trying to really be finesse baits, when these fish have been extremely pressured and you're just barely moving that bait to where you don't need that weight to hold that bait on the bottom that much. So let's see, let me show you some hooks that we got. So what we have here is a small split shot or drop shot hook. All right, and how we rig this is we have our bait here, and we go underneath the bait a little before the head, go in through it, and then you just pull it out to the head of the bait, just barely. I don't know if you guys can see that, just barely sticking out. Okay, so that's one way that we use these baits. The second hook that we use is a rebarb hook. Okay, so we use this when we're trying to do a little bit more of a weedless presentation. So rig it weedless. So we go through the bait, through the tip of the bait here. In, we go through the bottom just like that. Pull it through. And then we twist it. Push it up over the eye that will already have line on it. We'll push that over so that that little barb is sticking out and holding it in place. And then we will go back through the bottom and just barely poke that thing out the top. And we want to keep it as straight as we can. Just like that. So those are the two hooks that we use for drop shotting. We talked about the weights. This is one of our go-to fishing techniques, especially in the summertime when those fish go deep and they're down towards the bottom, they're super pressured. This is something that Brixton has gotten very proficient at. He's only 11 years old, and anybody can tie this knot. Anybody can tie this rig up.
Yeah, it's just such a good bait in the summertime for the smallmouth when they go deep and stuff, like Dad was saying. And anybody can tie it. I tie it, all my friends tie it. And we use this bait probably more than any other bait.
If you guys have any questions on baits or techniques or how it's fished or whatever it may be, just leave a comment and we'll be sure to comment back and answer any questions you guys might have. So, Tight Lines with Terrells, like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed it.